Hello, hello again, my fellow fashion enthusiasts and pop culture junkies. It's Brandon Blue Coats. So, today's again another random post. Um, this post, I wanted to come and talk to you guys a little bit about love and relationships. Now, I will start off by saying, by no means am I an expert. I'm not. But I feel like I've been through enough, and I've been through enough with friends and relatives and everybody else to um, share some wisdom. Um, I had a really interesting conversation today with a good friend of mine, and we're just talking about love and relationships with people we know, and just just things that we don't understand because me and this good friend of mine, we are actually very, very similar. We're a lot alike, actually. It's kind of scary at times how much we're alike, but it's great because I think we bring balance to both of each other to each other's lives. Um, But, I really want to come and talk a little bit about self worth, you know. And I feel like I've spoken about it in a few of my posts, but I think I really kind of want to expound to the best of my knowledge of what I know of what that means. I have been in and out of relationships over the past few years, and, for one reason or another, sorry, I thought I saw something. For one reason or another, they always seem to fall apart, not work, and I usually am the one that feels like I'm missing out on something in the end. That's just kind of how the cookies crumbled for me for the most part. That's not all my situations, but that's the majority of them. But I just couldn't figure it out for the longest. Like, what was wrong? What wasn't I doing? And I look to Jan Van Zandt a lot because I just love her truth. She gives it to you raw dog. Like, she's not trying to sugarcoat it. One of the things she says, like, I've been watching her show on the OWN network. Yana Fix My Life, which is a really great show, by the way. It comes on Saturdays at, I think, 10 p.m. Eastern on the OWN network, and it's just really been very helpful. One of the things she says is call thing a thing. There's so many of us that want to live and that do live in this sea of gray, because it takes courage to live in the black or the white, to be one way or the other. It takes courage. It takes real gumption. That's a word, yes. It takes real gumption to be who you want to be. One way or the other, black or white. We know in life we make things so much harder than it needs to be. It's really not as deep as we make it. It really isn't. The answers are always there, but we choose not to see it, and we live in this sea of gray and haze because it's comfortable. So I think with that, people settle a lot in life. They settle on all fronts of life. They settle for jobs they don't really want. They settle for relationships that are not good for them or that are not working just for the sake of either having somebody there or for whatever the purpose is that person is serving in their lives. But I have, and I made this promise to myself a long time ago, but I think over the past few years I've really taken it to heart and really put it into action. I'm looking to live my best life on all fronts. Work, relationship, finances, everything. I want to live the best of life. So, and I think in doing that, it's important to be honest with yourself. It's not important. I mean, being honest with other people is definitely important. Don't get me wrong. It is. But it's really important to live your best life and live your personal truth. It's to be honest with yourself about your flaws, your insecurities, what you want out of life, what you don't want. And have the courage to stand up for those things, particularly when it comes to relationships. Because a lot of times we get into these relationships where we meet somebody and, they're not quite what we're looking for or quite what we want, and we kind of make them fit into our lives. Um, and it just never works. It doesn't work. Because it's not organic. If you have to force something to happen, that means it wasn't supposed to happen. Everything in life happens exactly the way it's supposed to happen. Everything. Exactly the way it's supposed to happen. You don't have to force it. You don't have to do anything extra. Put yourself in a place of readiness by, excuse me, doing the work, which means doing introspection, doing all things you need to do to build yourself up. That's all you need to do, you know. And most importantly, understanding your worth, understanding what you're worth as a human being, what you bring to the table as an individual. You know, I and what's important and a way to figure out how to do this is to do a vision board. What is it that makes you you? What is it that is so unique and special about you? If somebody were to line you up in a group of people that are very have very similar features to you, or occupations or characteristics, what sets you apart? What makes you different? And then work backwards from there. You know, it's important that when you meet people, you give them the opportunity to show you who they are, and you know, this is it's a challenge that I've taken on, and I can honestly say I've done fairly well for myself with taking this challenge on, because there's been plenty of relationships and plenty of interactions that I've had with people that, you know, whether it be love relationships or friendships, whatever, that, you know, I've taken them at face value. Just like, okay, this is who you are, this is, you know, and just kind of work with it from there. And then I find I'm having issues and they're not who they say they were, or whatever the case may be. You know, at the end of the day, you know, I'm not getting nourished because I feel like I'm giving so much to this person and getting nothing in return, and that's not a good feeling. And I've lived it more than once, and I've made a promise to myself that I won't do it again. I just won't, because it's important now for me. Now that I know who I am, I'm a child of God. I'm creative. I'm smart. I'm funny. You know, I'm very, very loyal. You know, I'm a very caring, loving person. I go above and beyond. You know, and I don't bring hell to anybody's life. I will never speak a negative word against your life. You know, I'm there to encourage and to lift and to do all these things. But, you know, the people in your life have to be ready for it. They have to be worthy of it. And it's okay to, you know, distance yourself from people who you feel aren't worthy or ready for it. You know, I used to feel like such a bad person, like, oh my God, you know, am I being too snooty, or am I being too lofty just because, you know, I feel like I'm better than this? I don't think I'm better than anyone. But what I do know is that I have a strong self-worth, and I know who I am. And I know what I will and won't accept, and what I do and don't need in my life. So with that, you know, I make sure to, you know, choose people that are close to me wisely. You know, I've actually met somebody. She was a customer of mine, and you know, we've talked, and you know, I just think she's such a dynamic woman and a dynamic person, and I like to surround myself with those kind of people, because you know, I like people who inspire me, who are also on the same path and track to living their best life. You know, and I just see so much potential in her and how amazing she is, and you know, I definitely see myself befriending her. You know, but I feel like I'm all over the place today, but yeah, you know, with these posts, I don't really rehearse anything. You know, as you guys know, like I speak from the heart, and I just kind of say whatever needs to be said. Um, and I think you guys know that, and from what I see, you guys appreciate that. So, you know, that's me. I speak from the heart, but I just want you guys to be encouraged, live your best life. You know, choose the people around you wisely. But more certain, it's important. You have to do the work. You have to, have to, have to, have to, have to. I can't stress it enough. You have to do the work. And the work is doing the introspection that's necessary for you to be your best self. We've all been through struggles. We've all had hard lives. You know, everybody's got a story. But it's what you do with that story, healing those situations in your life to make you a whole better person. Don't rely on others to validate you, to be apologetic to you, to get closure in situations, because 9 out of 10 times you're not going to get that. So you need to give yourself closure. And how you give yourself closure is you get into the situation. You sit there. You go through it. Allow your heart to break. Allow your heart to break. Go through the emotions, and then bit by bit start to put yourself back together. And that's the key. Put yourself back together. Piece by piece. Take it day by day. But you have to do the work. You will never heal from the situations and stuff that you've experienced in the past unless you do the work. And in doing the work, you will see the benefits of doing the work. You know? Well, again, that was a quick post. I want you guys to do your work. I love you pieces. You can find me on Instagram, Brandon B. Coates. You can find me on, yeah, I'm still on Twitter. You can find me on Twitter as well, Brandon B. Coates. Facebook is Brandon Blue Coats, and on here it's Mr. Blue Coats. Again, thank you guys for watching. Have a splendiferously divine day. Have a great week. I'm actually heading out of town towards the end of the week to head to Chicago. Chi-Town, I'm on my way to you. You know. But until next time, guys, be good to yourselves. Do your work, and we'll talk soon. Okay?